folks, Bryan Tate here. And if you aren't living under a rock, you know that yesterday was a wild, crazy day for Bitcoin and cryptos in general. Yesterday was super crazy. We saw Bitcoin slide down all the way. It actually touched $29,999. Dip below 30,000 for the first time in a long time. So a lot of people are asking, should we be concerned about the end of Bitcoin? Are cryptos still safe to invest in? And why did all this happen? So I stumbled across an article that I think most people will find interesting. There was actually an insider that actually predicted the Bitcoin's dump yesterday. And, typically when these things happen, I always tell people, follow the money. It's always interesting. Some of these big institutions that are now investing into Bitcoin, they kind of came late to the party. Their investors, their shareholders, saw these kids, retail investors getting rich right before their eyes, and they wanted in an action. So companies like JP Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley have all opened up their clients access to, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But again, in the last couple years, Bitcoin has gone crazy high. So, their clients are getting in at the height of the marketplace. So I'm pretty sure, if you could put two and two together, there's going to be some manipulation that has to take place in order for these clients to get their money in at a good price. So I feel like this was just a complete shakedown, just to shake the retail investors out of their positions, just so that these newcomers who are just now finally seeing the power in Bitcoin, the power that we've been preaching all along in cryptocurrencies, I think that they're finally just trying to get it in on the action, trying to shake some of these people out of their positions. And those things happen, obviously, when you're over leveraged. If you're using leverage to invest in cryptocurrencies, that's a no-no. Pretty much every financial advisor will tell you that you shouldn't do that. And I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. But just know that, if there is a market manipulation or a correction and you're exposed and you're using platforms where you don't hold your own coins, some of these platforms will start selling off your stuff just to make sure that they're not exposed to so much risk. But anyway, let's dive into this article, and we're going to talk about a couple different things. But yeah, it's so much FUD out there. And if you don't know what FUD is, you've probably seen headlines. FUD is simply an acronym for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's kind of crazy that the markets reacted the way that they did because, there was a press release talking about China, banning cryptocurrencies. But if you've actually been in the marketplace, this is not a new announcement. They just basically ran a new press release about something that happened actually years ago. Again, so why did they do that? Why did this all happen on one day? I personally believe it was calculated. China re-releasing this information at the same time mixed with Elon's tweets that have came up this week. I just feel like it all happened at the same time. Also, we saw JP Morgan Chase, release a statement talking about some of their investors are taking their money and dumping it back into gold. And it just makes it, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but for them to release this information, if there's a big sell-off, this literally happened in one day and the article came out the same day. So how would they even have data to back up what they're saying? Again, I just think that it was super manipulated, some shady stuff going on behind the scenes. But there was an anonymous user that apparently predicted, that this shakedown was going to come from China. This person works for a financial institution. Obviously, I believe he doesn't want to mention the specific one. His life will probably be at stake in a country like that. But yeah, so like if you read this article, I'm going to link to it in the description. It really talks about, how, China had planned to post this FUD in order to, drive down the price of Bitcoin, and it was going to happen at a specific time. If you follow the post and you click on the link in the description, I will link to that, and then you will see all the evidence that the person presents. And just like his prediction, it came true. We saw the collapse of Bitcoin yesterday. Like I said, it dropped all the way down, past a little bit past 30,000. It did dip to 29,999. But yeah, it was only for a fraction of a second. And then most of the platforms, except for Robinhood, you weren't able to buy or sell at the time. They all kind of, went haywire. So we haven't seen a dip like this in a while. So with a lot of people being new retail investors, there was people panicking, having paper hands and, just selling. And one of the surefire ways not to make money is buying high and selling low. In the article tells about $9 billion lost in liquidated trading positions. Again, those, for people who are new to this kind of stuff, the liquidated trading positions are pretty much people who are buying cryptos or stocks using leverage, whether that be credit or using their portfolio as leverage. Again, if you do that, it's a very dangerous play because one, you can never really truly time the market. And two, any type of investment that you do should be with access capital that you are not afraid to use or lose. And third, whenever you borrow on margin, there can be a time where you're over leveraged and you might need cash, or you might have to start paying this money back. And if you don't have it, you're really gonna probably make not the best financial decisions in those kind of times. You're probably going to be selling, at the worst possible times, either trying to YOLO and get yourself back to positive, or just taking some really dangerous plays that can basically, depending on how much exposure you have to these, investments, can wipe out your whole portfolio. So it's not really something that's smart to do. I wouldn't advise you to do it. But again, like we did see this happen. And people are doing it, and they're probably kicking themselves today because Bitcoin did, decide to, come back, and it's crazy too because a lot of this I say manipulation. You can tell that it was manipulation because if you do a deeper dive and look into some of the transactions, you can see that yesterday there was a specific amount of money going into Bitcoin and immediately coming out, billions of dollars going in and $1 billion coming out. All at the same time. So on paper, it looked like there was a massive sell-off. But if you put $1 into something and take $1 out, is that really a sell-off? Obviously not. But again, just crazy times in the Bitcoin crypto world. China, yeah, they keep promoting a lot of FUD, a lot of press releases, a lot of information just to spook the retail investors to get out of their positions. And then we're seeing these institutions, these big institutions who are preaching, that Bitcoin may not be the best choice. They're taking their institutional money and then they're buying back in at the lower price. So they're shaking the little guys out like us out of our positions, the people that with the paper hands are getting scared or over leveraged, and then they're rebuying in at the dips. And this is just another strategy of the rich to get richer. It's unfortunate, but if you're out there and you're investing, the best long-term way to grow your wealth is to invest a certain amount over time and keep investing without pulling out. You gotta have diamond hands. You can't just invest and then pull out when the market dips a little bit. That's a for sure fire way to lose your principal. There's been many books written about if you miss the 5 most profitable days in investing in the stock market in the last 30 years, you missed out on, I think, 30 or 40% of all the gains that could have been made. So if you're trying to play this game, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's definitely not an effective way to handle, your portfolio. It's not something that you should be doing. If you want to take profits a little bit off the top, you can do that. But if your foundation is, if you believe in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever kind of crypto or altcoin you believe in, you need to stay the course and just trust that, especially with stuff like Bitcoin that has a finite, supply, that it will recover. And then, the prices will eventually rise again. So, If you guys are sitting on the fence, again, I'm gonna put a link to this in the description so you can truly dive into the article. It reveals a lot of insight on what's going on, like with the shakedown. I'm going to be trying to post more content about, cryptocurrencies and these type of things, because I really want my people, my subscribers, to be informed of stuff that's going on. If we look at what's going on in the market today, we can see the global market cap is $1.78 trillion, is up 6.47%. Today, Bitcoin's dominance is right now at 42.24%. That is down over the day, but in the last week, that is slightly up. Bitcoin's dominance has slipped down to about 40%, but it's on the rise again. We are seeing a green day in the last 24 hours for Bitcoin, 2.64% increase. Obviously, it's down over the last 7 days, but we know what happened this week. So tough day yesterday to stomach on paper. But we know what's going on. The best thing that you can do is to make sure that you're informed, stay up to date on what's going on in the marketplace so you don't make, drastic decisions. Obviously, if you sell your position on a red day, not only are you cutting losses at a bad time, you're also opening yourself up to, taxes and other implications that may come from it. So be smart about anything that you do. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and just stay up to date on, everything that's going in the market, and know why things are happening before you react. So question everything, follow the money, and you'll come out on top. So this is Bryan Tate. This is my update on the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin's dominance and what happened in the last 24 hours. Read the article. It's a dope article, and just, continue to fight the fight. That's all I have to say. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit subscribe. This has been Bryan Tate, and signing off.